Over the past several months, the entertainment world has been shaken by a succession of painful losses. Actors, musicians, performers, and cultural figures who once filled screens, concert halls, and homes with unforgettable moments have suddenly disappeared. Some were still at the beginning of promising careers, while others had spent decades building legacies recognized across the United States and far beyond. Their deaths occurred under very different circumstances, but each announcement left admirers with the same feeling of shock, the realization that a familiar voice, face, or talent would never return. Today, we remember 8 American celebrities whose deaths were confirmed in 2026. Although some passed away only days or weeks ago, and others earlier in the year, all of them left a meaningful mark on popular culture. This tribute looks back at their careers, the moments that made them famous, and the memories they leave behind. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which of these personalities had the greatest impact on you. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you do not miss our next tributes to the public figures. We begin with Kaylee Hoddle. The young actress became known around the world through the MonsterVerse films Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Born into a multi-generational deaf family, she communicated naturally through American Sign Language and brought warmth, intelligence, and emotional strength to the character of Gia. Her performances created a powerful connection with audiences and offered meaningful representation for deaf viewers. In July 2026, Kaylee died at only 18 years old after a car crash in Maryland. The news devastated her family, classmates, colleagues, and fans. Her life was heartbreakingly brief, but the sincerity she brought to the screen ensured that her memory would remain. Our second tribute is dedicated to Jennifer Finch. As the bassist of L7, she became an important figure in the alternative rock and grunge movements of the late 1980s and 1990s. Her energetic playing, rebellious presence, and creative personality helped give the group its unmistakable identity. The third personality is Plas Johnson, one of the most respected saxophonists in American popular music. Even listeners who didn't know his name had almost certainly heard his sound. He performed the unforgettable tenor saxophone solo on Henry Mancini's Pink Panther theme, one of the most recognizable pieces of film music ever recorded. During his long career, Johnson worked with legendary artists, including Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and Peggy Lee. His warm tone and elegant phrasing made him a favorite among composers and studio musicians. He died at his home in Los Angeles in July 2026 at the age of 94, only days before his 95th birthday. His career proved that a few perfectly played notes can become part of cultural history. If these stories are touching you, take a moment to subscribe and support the channel. Every subscription helps us continue preserving the memories of artists whose work accompanied important moments in our lives. We continue with Oliver Tree. Known for his eccentric appearance, oversized clothing, absurd humor, and unpredictable videos, he created a musical universe that was impossible to confuse with anyone else's. Behind the comedy was a serious songwriter who blended alternative rock, electronic music, hip-hop, and pop. Songs such as Alien Boy, Hurt, and Life Goes On introduced his strange but emotionally direct style to millions of listeners. In June 2026, Oliver Tree died at the age of 32 in a helicopter crash in Rio de Janeiro while he was in the middle of a world tour. The sudden nature of the tragedy shocked fans who had recently watched him perform and expected many more years of music. His work remains a reminder that originality often comes from refusing to follow ordinary rules. Our fifth tribute honors Davei Chase. As a child performer, she gave her voice to Lilo in Disney's Lilo and Stitch, creating a character remembered for her loneliness, humor, courage, and devotion to family. She also voiced Chihiro in the English-language version of Spirited Away and frightened an entire generation as Samara Morgan in The Ring. These very different roles revealed an exceptional ability to move between tenderness and terror. Davei Chase died in Los Angeles in June 2026 at the age of 35. The county coroner later listed AIDS as the primary cause of death, with chronic substance use as a contributing factor. Her difficult final years stood in painful contrast to the joy her childhood performances had brought to millions. Nevertheless, her voice and screen presence remained. The sixth name is James Handy. For decades, he was one of those dependable character actors whose face audiences immediately recognized even when they didn't know his name. He appeared in films including Jumanji and Top Gun: Maverick and made guest appearances across numerous American television series. Directors valued his ability to make even a small role feel authentic. In June 2026, Handy was fatally stabbed outside a residence in the Tarzana neighborhood of Los Angeles. He was 81 years old. The violent circumstances of his death added another layer of sadness to the announcement. His career, built through patience and consistent work rather than celebrity spectacle, represents the countless supporting performers who give depth and realism to the stories audiences love. Our seventh tribute is devoted to Eric Dane. He became a television favorite as Dr. Mark Sloan, widely known as McSteamy, on Grey's Anatomy. Years later, he reached a younger audience through his intense performance as Cal Jacobs in Euphoria. In 2025, Dane publicly revealed that he had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as ALS. Rather than retreat completely from public life, he used his diagnosis to support awareness and research. He died in February 2026 at the age of 53, surrounded by his family. His death was especially painful for viewers who had followed both his career and his courageous final campaign. Eric Dane will be remembered not only for his charisma on screen, but also for the honesty with which he faced a devastating illness. Finally, we remember Robert Duvall. Few American actors achieved a career as long, varied, and respected as his. He appeared as Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird, played Tom Hagen in the Godfather films, delivered one of cinema's most famous performances in Apocalypse Now, and won the Academy Award for Tender Mercies. Duvall had an extraordinary ability to disappear inside a character. He could portray authority, tenderness, danger, humor, or regret without ever seeming artificial. He died peacefully at his home in Virginia in February 2026, at the age of 95. No single role can summarize his contribution to cinema, because his influence stretched across more than 6 decades and over 100 screen appearances. These 8 personalities belonged to different generations in different artistic worlds. Some enjoyed long careers and reached old age, while others disappeared before they had the chance to show everything they could become. Together, their stories remind us that fame cannot protect anyone from illness, accident, or tragedy. What remains is the work, a performance, a melody, a character, a photograph, or a scene capable of bringing back a memory years later. Beyond the headlines, these losses reveal how differently grief reaches the public. A sudden accident can bring disbelief, while a long illness may allow fans to prepare without making the announcement less painful. In every case, families are left to mourn a person, not merely a public image. That is why remembrance matters. It allows audiences to celebrate what these artists created without reducing their lives to the circumstances of their deaths. Their work belongs to history, but their absence is felt by the people who knew and loved them personally forever. Thank you for watching this tribute until the end. Share in the comments the name of the person you will remember most, and send this video to someone who also appreciated their work. Subscribe for more respectful tributes to the stars whose talent, courage, and unforgettable achievements continue to live on after their passing.